Morning! So this is going to be as true to life as you could possibly imagine. Literally just woken up, but I thought I'd do this, GHD's ready, do this getting ready, what I do every morning for work. I thought I'd put my hair in it as well because I bloody hell not. So the way I do my hair is I've been wearing it straight with a bit of volume. I create like a fake blow dry effect because I'm terrible at actually giving myself blow dry. I'm not exactly perfect with my sectioning, but so yeah, then I pretty much go around and do my whole head, so I'll go and do that now. Okay, so I have my rollers in. I keep them in whilst I'm doing my makeup, then at the end I take them out and they've set nicely. So I'm going to incorporate in this everyday simple look how to cover up little bits of blemishes here and there. So let's get started. So I prep my skin with my Hydrating Mist Toner from Sukin. I really like it, it's really refreshing. Then I just put a light bit of moisturizer. I'm going to even out the tone on my eyes now. I'm going to use the Too Faced Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. Tiny, tiny, tiny amount. Blending synthetic brush. And I just sweep that all over. Then on top of that, I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Dolce Vita palette. I'm going to go in with the lighter shade first, and I'm just going to pop that on the inner corner. And then I'm going to use the warmer shade in the palette here, and I'm going to press that just on the lid lightly. So just take one touch and then just really spread it across so there's a light wash of colour. If you want to really blow that out, you can go in with your bronzer, use that shade and blend into the crease, but you don't have to. I'm just doing it because I like more smoke. So here's a fast way of creating the same effect as a winged eyeliner without the hassle of actually battling in the morning with doing a winged liner. First, go in with a brown pencil and just line the eye across like that. Whilst that's still drying in, then go in with a pencil buffing brush. This is the NYX number 15. And go in and drag that out slightly. Can you see you've created just a slight wing there? And just buff really lightly over the top. So you're sharpening up the wing to your desired angle. So as you can see here, it's really nice and neat. And here it's a little bit messy, so I'm going to do the same on this side. Look straight ahead when you're doing this as well, so you can check the angles, make sure that they're not going off in different directions. Now go in with a liquid pen and just lightly line the lash line. If you're not confident about doing one full sweep, just do light sort of stamping motions and just stroke it across. Now you're only doing this across the lash line just as you did with the pencil, because then what you're going to do is you're going to grab the brush again and you're going to lightly smudge the black into the brown, and then you sharpen up again. Don't know if that picks up on camera, but this one's a lot more intense, a little bit darker, and that one's still nice. If you want to skip the black liquid pen, go for it if you want it a little bit softer, but if you want to just intensify it ever so slightly, go with the liquid and smudge it in with the pencil brush. You don't have to wing it out as much as I've done. If you want to just line the lid and keep it just across the lash line, go for it, but I like a little bit of a wing lately, so I've done that. I already have lashes on, so I'm not going to put mascara on, but I would advise you put the mascara on right at the end. Now what I do is I always, if I want a really natural base and I know that I have things to cover, I always brighten underneath the eyes first, just because I think that the majority of the effect comes from the center. So I work on the center first and then I lightly start spreading out a little bit. So I'm using the Magical Way liquid concealer from Charlotte Tilbury. I really like this. It's really brightening and also as well like everyone's been saying that has this sort of Spanx-like feel, and you can really feel that there's an element of stretch to it. Now, for under the eyes, I think it's perfect, but you definitely still have to set it because it does crease ever so slightly. But once you set it with powder, it's perfect. So as you can see, brightening up under the eyes already makes a massive difference to everywhere else. Even though I have, you know, red marks here and I have the blemishes up here, just brightening up under the eyes already makes such a big. So now I'm going to go Now I'm going to go in with foundation. I'm using a light to medium coverage, which is buildable. It's the Cover FX Power Play foundation. This is my absolute favorite, and the reason why I like it is because it's a natural finish. It's not too dewy, it's not too matte, but also as well, it dries down on its own. It doesn't really need setting. So I concentrate in the center of the face first, and then I go around. If you start off on the side and then go across, you'll end up putting on way more than you need. So tiny amount. Can you see that? I'm going to use that for pretty much the rest of my face. Taking small amounts, just bounce it on the skin. Now for the areas here that it doesn't completely cover, then I'll go in and show you the next step. Now I've done my foundation. The whole point of this is light, small light layers. Don't go in with a thick blob. You will use too much product. There is a term which I actually learned from Wayne Goss, makeup artist. If you don't follow him on YouTube or socials, he is like the most down to earth, honest and direct YouTubers out there. And he basically talks about minimum effective dose. So the minimum amount of product you can use for the most effect, for the biggest effect. If I need to go in any more, I go in with a higher coverage concealer, which is the one I used earlier on. So I use a different concealer to the one under my eyes, because the one under my eyes is a lot brighter. It's slightly lighter than my skin, whereas this one matches me perfectly. And you don't want to use a concealer that's lighter than your skin to cover blemishes up, because lighter colours are designed to bring attention forwards and dark colours bring the attention back. So if you use a lighter colour on a blemish, you guessed it, it's going to bring that forwards and draw more attention to it. So it's super, super important when you're concealing blemishes or any texture in the skin to use a colour that is exactly the same as your skin. And that's what this one is for me. So I put a tiny bit on the back of my hand. Definitely wouldn't go in straight from the wand. As cool as it is, you'll end up putting on way too much product. Get into a habit of putting things on the back of your hand or on a palette if you don't want to put them on your hand. Put them on the back of your hand and then use a brush to go in, because you'll use less and it will look better, I promise. So go in, grab teeny, teeny, teeny amount and just lightly bounce. And if I put a bit too much on, I use my finger and just bounce over. So the amount of product you're grabbing is pretty much just enough to apply onto the skin, but not enough that it is a blob. So you sort of enough that it can be applied and blended all together at once. You'll know if you put too much on if you apply it and it doesn't straight away sink into the skin, and you need to continuously spread around to buff it in. It needs to be just enough that as you apply it, it sinks right in. And then you can, if you need to, go in and grab some more and buff. But the trick is small, tiny, tiny, tiny layers and then build up on top of that. With blemishes and with textures in general on the skin, the more product you put on top of it, the more attention you're going to draw to it, regardless of whether it removes the redness or anything. I would rather have a little bit of redness showing through than texture, because you can't really hide texture. It just makes you look like you have more on than you actually do. So being really, really light-handed, and yeah, okay, do you know what? If it's not completely flawless or perfect, and there's still little elements of tone showing through, it's better, again, it's better than putting another layer on and adding more weight to your skin. So I'm going to finish off the rest of my face now. I'm just going to use some loose powder, just lightly under the eyes just to set that Charlotte Tilbury concealer using a small amount. I'm not baking anything. You could do that for the evening, but for every day I think it's just an excess. You just want to set it in place and not put too much on. I always go down the side of the nose as well, because a shiny side of your nose isn't cute. I'm not finished powdering, but I just want to go and do blush and highlight and everything like that. I'm going in with a cream blush. I love cream blushes, even though I have an oily skin. If you find the right formula, you will have no problem with them. You shouldn't be scared of them. If anything, it's going to make the texture of your skin look a lot more realistic and like skin, rather than putting too many powder products on your skin, which just, again, adds texture. I use the Nip and Fab Fix Sticks. I really love them. I'm using 2 shades. I mix them together because I want you to bring out more shades, Nip and Fab, please. So I just swipe across the 2 and I just lightly press, bounce that in. If you knew me back in my London days, I used to literally avoid blush like the plague, but now I'm all for it. Just drag it across. It's a little bit of a overall flush. Now I've put the cream textures on my skin, I'm going to go in and powder the rest. So I always powder the forehead, chin area, side, and I just do the sides of the nose again. So from the front it looks pretty matte and natural, and then you get that sheen. I don't really care too much about bronzer, but I'm going to anyway, just for the sake of the video. I concentrate my bronzer on the side of my forehead, go in with brow gel, and then lips. This colour is Love Trap from Charlotte Tilbury. It's one of my favourites. I always just colour around the sides and I leave the centre, my natural lip, and I blend it in. And then I just go in and I put a lip balm over the top. I'm going to take my hair down and I'll be back in a minute. And that's that. A really, really simple, everyday glam that looks like you put way more effort into it than you actually have. Well, minus the hair, because not everyone puts their hair in rollers every morning. But I do, so... But with the makeup, it's just... You saw how simple that was. Just eyeshadow, pencil, smudge, liquid, smudge. But yeah, I hope you liked it. If you do like these videos, please do like it and subscribe. It shows me that you're actually watching, and it makes me want to make more. So yeah, thank you. I would love your feedback on all of these videos and things that I put up. Please do be more vocal. It makes my day. So yeah, have a great day.